If wealth was purely a game of intellect, then the smartest people on earth would always be the richest. If finance was just a math problem, then the professors, the hedge fund managers, and the Wall Street savants would never go broke. But money doesn't care about your IQ. Money cares about your behavior. To understand why, you need to meet two men. The first man is Richard Fuscone. Richard was the ultimate success story. He was a Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive, an MBA powerhouse, and a titan of the financial industry. He was so incredibly successful that he retired in his 40s to become a philanthropist. He expanded a massive 18,000 square foot mansion in Connecticut that had 11 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools, and a lift. He borrowed heavily to maintain this ultra-luxurious lifestyle. The second man is Ronald Read. Ronald lived in rural Vermont. He was a gas station attendant for 25 years and swept floors as a janitor at JCPenney for another 17 years. He bought a 2-bedroom house for $12,000 at age 38 and lived there for the rest of his life. His main hobby was chopping his own firewood. In 2014, both of these men made the national headlines. Richard Fuscone, the Harvard executive, filed for bankruptcy. The 2008 financial crisis decimated his illiquid investments, leaving him with mountains of debt. His massive mansion was foreclosed upon and sold for a fraction of its value. He was left completely ruined. In that exact same year, Ronald Read, the janitor, passed away at the age of 92. When his will was read, the entire country was left in absolute shock. The quiet janitor had left behind a fortune of over $8 million. He bequeathed $2 million to his stepchildren and over $6 million to his local hospital and library. How does a man who swept floors beat a Harvard financial executive at his own game? The answer is simple. Richard Fuscone was a genius who behaved poorly. Ronald Read was an amateur who behaved flawlessly. In his groundbreaking book, The Psychology of Money, financial journalist Morgan Housel reveals that our financial outcomes are driven not by spreadsheets or formulas, but by the deeply ingrained psychological biases, flaws, and behaviors that dictate our daily choices. Today, we are diving into the most critical, life-changing lessons from this masterpiece, designed to completely reprogram how you view wealth, risk, and greed. If you want to escape the financial matrix, pay close attention to every chapter. Before we can look at how to build wealth, we have to address a fundamental truth. No one is crazy. When you look at how other people spend or invest their money, you might think they are completely insane. Why would someone buy a lottery ticket when they can barely afford groceries? Why would someone invest their entire life savings into a volatile cryptocurrency? Morgan Housel points out that your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.0000001% of what's happened in the world, but they guide about 80% of how you think the world works. Consider this. If you were born in 1950, the stock market was stagnant during your 20s and 30s, a time when you were forming your view of the financial world. But if you were born in 1970, the stock market went on a legendary bull run during your 20s and 30s, nearly multiplying by 10. The person born in 1970 looks at the stock market as a golden escalator to wealth. The person born in 1950 looks at it as a volatile trap. Neither person is stupid. Neither person is crazy. They are simply operating based on the unique psychological blueprint carved out by their lived experiences. Take the lottery ticket example. In the United States, the lowest income households spend an average of $412 a year on lottery tickets. To a middle class or wealthy observer, this looks like pure financial insanity. Why not save that $412 for an emergency fund? But from the psychological perspective of someone trapped in poverty, that $412 isn't just a ticket. It is the buy-in for a dream that wealthier people take for granted. It's the only time in their week they can tangibly imagine owning a home, buying a new car, or securing their children's future. They aren't miscalculating the math. They are paying for a psychological feeling of hope. The takeaway? Stop judging people's financial decisions based on logic alone. Instead, look at their psychology. And more importantly, analyze your own. What biases are you holding on to simply because of when and where you grew up? Every financial outcome is driven by two invisible forces that we almost always ignore: luck and risk. They are distinct sides of the exact same coin. Housel defines them beautifully. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. The world is far too complex for 100% of your actions to dictate 100% of your outcomes. To illustrate this, let's look at the origin story of the richest man of our era, Bill Gates. In 1968, there were roughly 303 million school-aged children in the world. Out of those 303 million children, only a tiny fraction attended Lakeside School in Seattle, Washington. Lakeside happened to be one of the only schools in the entire world that had a computer, the teletype Model 30. Bill Gates happened to be a student at Lakeside. He was roughly 1 in a million. Through an extraordinary stroke of planetary luck, Gates had access to a computer at a time when even most top universities didn't have one. Gates himself admitted that if there had been no Lakeside School, there would be no Microsoft. But now let's look at the flip side of that coin, risk. At Lakeside, Gates had a brilliant best friend named Kent Evans. Kent was just as smart, just as obsessed with computers, and just as ambitious as Gates. They frequently talked about running a company together in the future, but Kent Evans never got to co-found Microsoft. Before he could graduate high school, Kent died in a mountaineering accident. The odds of dying in a mountaineering accident while in high school are roughly 1 in a million. Do you see the profound psychological truth here? Bill Gates experienced 1 in a million luck. Kent Evans experienced 1 in a million risk. Both were equally talented, equally hardworking, and equally driven. But their financial outcomes were completely altered by forces entirely outside their control. When you see someone succeeding wildly, be careful not to attribute 100% of it to their intellect. And when you see someone fail, or when you fail yourself, be careful not to assume it's entirely due to laziness or poor choices. Focus less on specific individuals and their extreme outcomes, and focus more on broad, repeatable patterns. The hardest financial skill to learn, but the most critical one for your survival, is getting the goalposts to stop moving. This is the psychology of never enough. Let's look at another tragic figure, Raja Gupta. Gupta was born an orphan in Kolkata, India, but fought his way through sheer intellect to become the CEO of McKinsey & Company, the world's most prestigious consulting firm. By his 50s, he was worth a staggering $100 million. He was a billionaire in all but name, sitting on the boards of major corporations like Goldman Sachs. But $100 million wasn't enough. Gupta wanted to be a billionaire. In 2008, when Goldman Sachs was reeling from the financial crisis, Warren Buffett decided to invest $5 billion into the bank to rescue it. Because Gupta sat on the board of Goldman Sachs, he received this highly confidential information before the public. What did he do? He hung up the board meeting phone call, immediately dialed a hedge fund manager named Raj Rajaratnam, and leaked the tip. The hedge fund bought massive amounts of Goldman stock, netting a quick, illegal profit. Gupta was caught, convicted of insider trading, and sent to federal prison. His reputation, his legacy, and his freedom were completely destroyed. Why would a man worth $100 million risk everything for money he didn't even need? Because his psychological goalposts kept moving. He was comparing himself to the billionaires around him. Housel warns us that there are some things never worth risking. No matter the potential gain, your reputation, your freedom, your family, and your peace of mind. The only way to win the game of modern wealth comparison is to realize that you do not have to play. True wealth is knowing when you have enough to maintain your freedom and refusing to let ego dictate your lifestyle. If you take away just one lesson from this entire video, let it be this one. Human brains are linear. We understand addition, subtraction, and predictable growth. But our brains are fundamentally broken when it comes to understanding exponential growth. This is what Housel calls confounding compounding. To understand the absolute power of compounding, we have to look at the greatest investor of all time, Warren Buffett. Everyone knows Buffett is a genius. Everyone studies his stock picks, his letters to shareholders, and his value investing philosophy. But they completely miss the real secret to his $100+ billion fortune. The secret isn't just how well he invested, it's how long he invested. Warren Buffett started investing seriously when he was just 11 years old. By the time he was 30, he had a net worth of $1 million. But think about this. As of today, over 95% of Warren Buffett's net worth was accumulated after his 65th birthday. If Buffett had been a normal human being who started investing in his 20s and retired in his 60s. Like everyone else, let's say he retired with a very respectable net worth of $11.90 million. No one would know his name. He would be an obscure, retired financial guy. The compounding magic didn't happen because he was a 100x better investor than everyone else. It happened because he stayed invested for over 3/4 of a century. His skill was investing, but his secret weapon was time. Compounding is like planting an oak tree. In the first year, it looks like a fragile little twig. In year 5, it's just a small bush. You might feel tempted to dig it up and plant something else. But if you leave it completely alone for 50 years, it becomes a massive, unstoppable force of nature. The best financial plan isn't the one that yields the absolute highest return, because high returns usually come with high volatility. That causes you to panic and sell. The best financial plan is the one with the highest rate of return that you can stick with for the longest period of time. Time is the ultimate equalizer. Quiet persistence always beats brilliant impatience. Getting rich and staying rich are two entirely different skills. In fact, they require completely opposite psychological mindsets. Getting rich requires you to take risks. It requires optimism, unshakable confidence, and putting yourself out there. Staying rich requires the exact opposite. It requires humility. It requires a healthy dose of fear that what you made can be taken away from you just as fast as you got it. It requires an obsession with survival. Housel notes that a huge number of successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and investors fail because they think the exact same skills that made them rich will keep them rich. Jesse Livermore was one of the greatest stock traders of the early 20th century. During the infamous 1929 stock market crash, when the entire American economy was collapsing and people were jumping out of windows, Livermore had shorted the market. In a single day, he made $100 million. He became one of the richest men in the world overnight. He came home to his family, celebrated his genius, and felt absolutely invincible. But because he felt invincible, his psychological mindset remained stuck on risk-taking. He forgot the rule of survival. Just 4 years later, after making a series of massive, overconfident bets, Livermore lost everything he owned. He ended up deeply in debt and eventually took his own life. He knew how to get rich, but he had no idea how to stay rich. True financial genius is the ability to look at your wins and say, I got lucky, and I need to protect what I have. It's having a financial cushion so large that no market crash, no sudden emergency, and no economic downturn can wipe you out of the game. Survival is the ultimate strategy. As we close out Morgan Housel's timeless lessons, we are left with the ultimate dividend that money pays. The highest form of wealth isn't a garage full of supercars. It isn't a luxury mansion or a designer watch. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every single morning, look in the mirror, and say, I can do whatever I want today. True wealth is control over your time. It's the freedom to quit a toxic job, the flexibility to spend time with your parents and loved ones, and the security to not live in constant financial fear. Money is not a math problem. It is a psychological mirror. Stop trying to optimize your spreadsheets to the perfect decimal point and start focusing on controlling your behavior, practicing humility, and giving your investments the one thing they need most: time. Thank you for tuning into Shekswealth. If this video shifted your perspective on wealth, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Keep building, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video.